Welcome back to another comparison of P2P lending platforms. Today we will compare two well-established real estate crowdfunding platforms, CrowdEstate and Estate Guru. Make sure to stay until the end if you want to learn more about the differences between those two options, as well as to find out which platform is the better fit for you. My name is Jakub from P2P Empower, and if you want to become more educated P2P investor, consider subscribing and also hit the like button if you want to see more content like this in the future. As in all of our comparisons, we will look at data that's publicly available. As we have previously invested money on both platforms, we can also share some of our experiences when it comes to the performance of our portfolios. Note that the P2P lending space is changing rapidly, and you should always conduct your own research and verify the information before you start investing. So, first things first. Both platforms operate within the real estate crowdfunding segment. Both operators launched their platforms in 2014, and both companies are based in Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia. CrowdEstate reports over 55,000 registered users, whereas on Estate Guru there are currently more than 75,000 registered investors. As always, we don't know what's the exact number of active investors. According to the statistics at CrowdEstate, there are only around 12,000 investors who have at least one investment. Estate Guru does not publicly share this data. On CrowdEstate, you can start investing from just €100, and on Estate Guru, the minimum investment amount is only €50. Deposits and withdrawals work without any issues. On both platforms, you can deposit or withdraw funds within 3 working days. Depending on your bank, it can also be within just a couple of hours. When it comes to the protection of your investments on CrowdEstate, you can expect various securities such as first and second rank mortgages, as well as commercial collateral. On Estate Guru, 97% of their loans are currently backed by a first rank mortgage. As you might know already, the mortgage is as good as the valuation of the property, so we recommend checking the track record of the real estate rating agencies who are in charge of the evaluation. Both platforms offer you the chance to download the entire loan book, and this makes both platforms quite transparent. The loan book comes in handy if you want to analyze some additional data, like for instance the default rates. While Estate Guru shows the default rates on their statistics page, CrowdEstate does not. So you will be better off downloading the loan book as well as the sheet for defaulted loans. Based on the current data that we have retrieved from the loan book, Estate Guru's default rate for the outstanding loans is at 8.9%. This means that out of 910 loans, 81 loans have the default status. On CrowdEstate, 3% of their loans have defaulted. That's 4 out of 133 projects. Now, the default status doesn't mean the same thing on both platforms. A defaulted loan on Estate Guru means that the platform has initiated the recovery process. So far, none of the investors lost any money on Estate Guru, as the loans are properly secured, which makes the recoveries very successful. On CrowdEstate, on the other hand, the protection of your investments varies, and investors have already lost some capital from defaulted projects. As you might know already, a higher interest rate often represents a higher risk, and that's also the case on both platforms. In fact, the average interest rate on CrowdEstate is currently at 15.35%, whereas on Estate Guru it's just about 11.48% per year. This is certainly something you should always keep in mind when investing in loans. On CrowdEstate, you can fund all types of investments like mortgage-backed loans, business loans, development loans, or bridge loans from countries like Estonia, Italy, Romania, and Latvia. On Estate Guru, on the other hand, you can fund development projects, bridge loans, or business loans that are often backed by a first-rank mortgage. In total, CrowdEstate funded around 100 million worth of loans, whereas Estate Guru funded 3 times as much. The total funding volume is currently around €315 million. Investors on CrowdEstate earned in total so far €11 million in interest, whereas investors on Estate Guru earned €24 million in interest so far. The outstanding portfolio on CrowdEstate is also just 40 million, which is much smaller than on Estate Guru, where the portfolio accounts for almost €130 million at the time as we are recording this video. What's also worth mentioning is that CrowdEstate lists around 8 new projects every month, and on Estate Guru you can invest in almost 30 projects every month. This means that the loan availability on Estate Guru is much higher. The funding speed on Estate Guru is also much higher than on many other platforms. A project with a funding target of 2 million might get funded within just 1 day. This means that there is a lot of investors on Estate Guru that are able to provide their capital. When it comes to the features of both platforms, they're actually quite similar. Both platforms offer an auto invest, which will help you to automate your investments if that's something you want to go for. There are, however, some differences between those two auto-invest features. On CrowdEstate, you can filter investment opportunities based on risk classes, asset classes, capital type, and investment type. You also have the option to only invest in loans that are backed by a specific collateral type. On EstateGuru, the auto-invest is a little bit simpler, but in our opinion, it's more targeted towards the actual investments on the platform. A nice feature is that you can select your own repayment type, and you can also exclude the option to invest in refinancing loans. What's worth pointing out is that the advanced features on EstateGuru's auto-invest are currently only available for investors who invest at least €250 into one loan. If you're just starting out and you want to invest a minimum investment amount of just €50, you will be able to just use the basic auto-invest settings. When it comes to liquidating your investments before the end of the loan term, you can do that on the secondary market. Both platforms charge a 2% fee for the sellers, and CrowdEstate charges a VAT on top of that. How long it takes to sell your investments depends on the interest from other investors. What you can do is to offer a discount on your investments, which will likely attract more buyers. When we liquidated our portfolio last December on CrowdEstate, we were able to sell it within 1 day. Also, all of our sales on EstateGuru were processed without any hiccups, which means that both secondary markets are quite reliable if you need to withdraw your money. So there's been an in-depth comparison about some of the factual data surrounding those two platforms. Now, let's give you some of our impressions from investing on both crowdfunding sites. We have started investing on CrowdEstate in the beginning of 2020 as we launched our project to test the platform and gather our own experience. We have built up a small portfolio consisting of a few projects, and to be honest, the platform is quite easy to use and many of the features are self-explanatory. When it comes to the presentation of data, however, there is certainly room for improvement. We haven't seen any updates of the platform last year, which makes it look quite outdated in 2021. When it comes to the reporting standards, in 2019 the platform reported a profit of €462,000. The financial report for 2019 was not audited, but CrowdEstate promised to audit the reports for 2020, which haven't been publicly released yet. The platform also started by publishing a monthly performance report on their blog, and according to their announcement at the beginning of the year, CrowdEstate will be applying for the crowdfunding license, which should go into effect at the end of this year. The platform also plans to expand into several new markets. As CrowdEstate stopped the collaboration with us at the end of last year, we decided to liquidate our portfolio as there is really no incentive for us to report about a partner who isn't open to collaboration with our project. During our investment period on CrowdEstate, however, we did not experience any difficulties and we also did not invest in all of the defaulted loans. So now let's talk about EstateGuru. Our experience with EstateGuru tracks back all the way to the beginning of 2018. I even had a chance to visit their headquarters as well as some of the funded projects in the summer of 2019. During my visit to EstateGuru, I've also learned a lot about the recovery process, which is also something I highly recommend you doing when investing in P2P loans. Our portfolio on the platform is currently at around €8,000 and it's constantly growing. Out of 70 funded projects, only one has the status default, and so far we have never lost any capital on the platform. EstateGuru is very transparent and professional when it comes to communicating the performance of their loans. Their statistics page does not hide any details, and you can also download the loan book and make your own charts based on data that you are interested in. EstateGuru also publishes monthly reports and case studies around their projects, and the platform is also very easy to use and you will find all the relevant information within just a few clicks. And if you're not sure about what certain data means, EstateGuru recently published an investor guidebook. In fact, we were the first ones to get our hands on the file. It's basically a document that explains all of the functionalities of the platform, and I highly recommend to you to read it before you start investing. You will find the link to the guide in our EstateGuru review on P2P Empire. What's worth mentioning is also the fact that the platform is also onboarding institutional investors, which will help to reach new markets and fund even larger loans. As you might know, institutional investors conduct in-depth due diligence, which is extremely complex and time-consuming. For the retail investor, this is great news, as you might feel more comfortable knowing that even professional investors trust EstateGuru with millions of euros. We are not aware of any other platforms that attract institutional investors, but if you are, leave a comment below and we might reach out to them for an interview. So that's been our impression of both platforms. Note that every investor will ultimately have a different experience. If you are wondering which platform is the better fit for you, you will likely want to see which one fits your investment strategy. If you want to invest in deals from Italy or Romania, CrowdEstate will be a better option. If this is not your criteria, Estate Guru will be a good overall fit if your goal is to bring additional safety into your P2P portfolio and invest in loans that are backed by a first-rank mortgage. So I think we have covered the most important details today. If you have some experience on either of those two platforms, feel free to add them in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, let me know and I might answer them in the form of a video in the future. Thanks for watching and I will catch you in the next one.